More than 2,000 years ago, one man made a decision that shocked the ancient world. His name was Hannibal, general of Carthage, commander of one of history's greatest armies. The Romans expected him to invade from the south, where the roads were known and the sea offered a direct route. Instead, Hannibal looked toward something everyone else considered impossible: the Alps. Towering mountains covered in snow, jagged cliffs, freezing winds, and narrow paths where even a single misstep could mean death. To most commanders, they were a barrier. To Hannibal, they were an opportunity. Because if he could cross them, he could enter Italy, where Rome least expected him. So, in 218 BCE, Hannibal gathered his army, thousands of infantry, thousands of cavalry, and 37 war elephants. Together, they began one of the most extraordinary marches in military history. As the army climbed higher, the mountains became increasingly unforgiving. The warm valleys disappeared behind them. The air grew thinner. Snow covered the trails. Strong winds cut through armor and clothing. Every day became a battle against nature itself. The narrow mountain paths barely held the weight of soldiers and animals. Loose rocks tumbled into deep valleys below. Entire sections of the trail had collapsed. Sometimes the army had to carve a new path through solid rock simply to continue. Progress slowed to a crawl. Every step demanded absolute concentration. But the mountain was only one enemy. Local tribes watched from above. They attacked without warning, rolling stones onto the marching columns and launching ambushes from hidden cliffs. Hannibal's soldiers fought not only against enemies, but against exhaustion, hunger, and freezing temperatures. Food became scarce. The horses weakened. Even the mighty elephants struggled to keep their footing on icy slopes. Many soldiers began to lose hope. Some wondered if the journey itself would destroy them before they ever reached Rome. At times, the mountains seemed endless. Every summit revealed yet another ridge waiting ahead. Then came the moment that history remembers. After days of relentless climbing, Hannibal reached one of the highest points of the Alps. He gathered his exhausted soldiers. Instead of asking them to focus on the suffering behind them, he pointed ahead. Far below, the mountains stretched the green plains of northern Italy, their destination, their purpose, their opportunity. For the first time in days, the soldiers could see why every painful step had mattered. The mountain was no longer just an obstacle. It had become the path to something greater. That single view changed everything. Their bodies were still exhausted. The snow had not disappeared. The danger remained. But now they understood what waited beyond the struggle. Sometimes, nothing changes except what we choose to focus on. And sometimes, that's enough. Eventually, Hannibal and his army descended into Italy. They had lost thousands of men. Many horses never survived the crossing. Only a handful of elephants remained. The cost had been enormous. Yet against every expectation, they had accomplished what Rome believed was impossible. Soon afterward, Hannibal would win some of the greatest military victories in history, including the famous Battle of Cannae. But perhaps his greatest victory had happened before any battle was fought. He convinced an exhausted army to keep moving when every reason suggested they should stop. This story teaches us something that modern psychology now understands remarkably well: goal visualization. Human beings endure hardship more effectively when they can clearly imagine the meaningful outcome waiting beyond it. Pain without purpose feels unbearable. But when we connect today's struggle with tomorrow's reward, our minds become more resilient. Hannibal didn't remove the mountain. He changed what his soldiers were looking at. Instead of seeing snow, they saw Italy. Instead of seeing exhaustion, they saw victory. The obstacle stayed exactly the same. Their perspective changed. And sometimes, perspective is powerful enough to carry us through the impossible.